Okay, here's my audience. Imagine this. You're 10 years old and you place your first bet, whether that's on a card game or a dice roll or a video game. Consider how that feels, and you could become an addicted adult to gambling. I'm Josh Lawson, and today I'm going to be going over the hidden influence of gambling on youth and young adults, as well as families. So you're probably thinking to yourself, so what? Gambling affects not just individuals, it ruins families and children especially. Understanding these risks can allow you to recognize warning signs and help others before it's too late. I have not experienced a lot of people in my life who are addicted to gambling, but you definitely hear it online talking about different families that have been ruined just because they'll spend their rent money on another gamble, or you'll see it online. These types of situations are real and they happen. And today I'm going to be going over the early exposure to gambling, the risk of children of gambling parents, and how even those intending to restrict gambling cannot. So I'm going to have three main points today. The first main point is going to be talking about early exposure to gambling raises lifelong risks. So the first sub point in that point is the majority of teenagers begin gambling at the ages of 6 to 12, thus enhancing their susceptibility to dependency at older ages. This comes from an article by Hyun-Jung Lee, and it's really kind of talking about how teenagers who get addicted to gambling whenever they're in their 18, 19, 20, which is the prime age to get addicted nowadays, they have been doing these things. Studies show they've been doing these things when they were 6 years old all the way until they're 12 years old, just getting in the mix of it. And these studies are showing this. And the next sub point talks about mass media and video games perpetuate irrational belief regarding gambling among young people. These show that mass media and video games can also cause gambling. These don't have to be even gambling type video games. They can be talking about just, oh, you're playing Fortnite. Let me bet you on this Fortnite game that I'm going to get X amount of wins, or whatever it may be. These situations do happen, and it's things that people need to be talking about. So the next main point I want to go over is children of gamblers suffer emotional and psychological harm. And the first sub point in that is we're not just talking about the United States. This is a worldwide problem. And in this sub point, it says an estimated 1 in 25 German children is growing up with a gambling disordered parent. This is cited by Nina Stefan. And this is very interesting because it's not just a USA problem. This is happening in other parts of the world, whether that's Europe, Asia, or other places, but 1 in 25 German children are growing up with this addiction. If you put that into perspective, that is so many families that are being affected by this. And the next sub point is even those living with other family members may live in fear and anxiety, neglect, or poor financial management. This also comes from the same article and talking about these children that are being affected by their parents who are just addicted to gambling, and they're just wasting their money, not putting them into proper schools, not putting them through college. These things happen and they're real. And the last main point that I want to go over is the majority of gamblers try to impose limits but still face strong environmental influences. So this comes from Simone Rada, and she's talking about common strategies include setting cash limits, avoiding cards, and pre-committing to a budget. And so many people will say, oh, I'm not addicted to gambling. I have a limit every single time that I go somewhere, and it really helps me. But those are the same types of people sometimes that will overcommit to their budget. They will just go over and have very loose ends in their commitments here, and they're a big part of the problem. And the next sub point I want to go over is despite these methods, the atmosphere of gambling venues and mental triggers often override self-control. And this is very true. Kind of just what I was just talking about is these mental triggers often happen whenever you're in these venues because these venues are built to make you addicted to gambling. These places are just trying to take your money, and so many people are a victim to these things. So kind of just coming to a conclusion here, some things that I talked about is gambling harms more than just the gambler. It affects children, disrupts families, and often starts younger than you think. Prevention, awareness, and better understanding are key. So I hope that in this speech that I taught you that it's not just the parents that are being affected by this. The children of these gamblers, addicts, families are being very widely affected. And I want to bring you back to the first story. If the first wager of a 10-year-old can be a lifetime struggle, then what a person learns about gambling today may completely change a life tomorrow. Thank you.